And 1, 2, 3, we are live. Yes, I'm not one of those people that says, "Are we live yet? Are we live yet? I can't tell. Are we live? Are we on?" It's been 10 seconds already. We're live. How you doing, friends? It's Ernie from the Trader of Futures. But you knew that. Today's topic. And that's not today's topic. Hold on. Hold on. Markets are not on fire. Recession fears have gone, but that's not what we're going to talk about today. Let's fix that. Hold on. There we go. There we go. That's today's topic. Oh, spelling error. All right. We're all set now. How to become a millionaire with Bitcoin. Seriously, what do you think you're going to learn from today's show? Do you think you're going to learn how to become a millionaire with Bitcoin? Do you think that that is what today's show is about? Do you think that is the type of knowledge that I am willing to impart upon you without any compensation whatsoever? Well, I'm sure that there are a lot of millionaires out there that, as a result of Bitcoin or altcoins or shitcoins or other means, maybe even some of those people that are listening to me right now will claim that they have made their fortune with Bitcoin and altcoins and crypto. Maybe. I'd say that 95 to 99% of the people that claim that are lying out their asses. Because I don't believe it. I don't believe it for 1 second. I know that there are people out there that have made some money. They are a very, very small and select group. Most people have lost their shirts. I have seen many of those people. But very, very few have I seen that have made money. Very few. A few have made, 10,000 here, maybe 50, maybe 100,000 here or there and got out lucky. But the vast majority of people that I've seen have not only just lost a lot of money, but they've lost millions. Tens. I know a client that has lost over $20 million. $20 million. I know some that have lost their entire fortune, their life savings. One woman that lost $730,000. I know these people. So the people that are claiming to be millionaires, why don't you help these people out? Yeah, what does the old saying go that, hey, you want to become a Bitcoin millionaire? Start off with $10 million. So what is happening in the Bitcoin world today? Where are we? Shall we do some analysis? The markets are on fire. But no. Let's not go to the markets. Let's not trade stocks or futures. Let's trade a fraudulent scam Ponzi scheme. Because that is the way to become a millionaire. That is the path to Lambos and hoes. Hoes for everyone. Just a little note from a business partner. Other things cooking. Now, one thing a lot of people have trouble with when trading or other things, or how to make a million, how to be successful. How do you become successful? How does one become successful? Now there's a more pertinent question. How do you attract other people to you? How do you attract money to you? Do you think it's by dabbling in cryptos? Is that the surefire way? Maybe starting a business, a consultancy? Maybe becoming a developer and developing some new whiz-bang app that everybody must have. Maybe becoming a professional athlete. You know, because your odds of becoming a professional athlete or doing any of those other things that I talked about are about the same. 1 in about 10 million. Whoop. That's funny. That was just a note about some of the things that are going on these days in politics. I don't like talking about politics on... Darn! All right. Where was I? Oh, yeah. I was talking about how to become a millionaire. How do you attract people to you? How do you attract money? How do you attract women? Lose my way here. So some people apparently have some ideas on how you become a millionaire. Risk spread over 24 trades and 6% average yield per week in the AI program, correct? No. Why can't AI work with Bitcoin? Now there's a good question. Surf and Goat says, hello, Oracle Ernie. I don't consider myself an oracle. Maybe a muse, but not an oracle. Facebook coin. Don is a little less optimistic than me. Don Ray says you need to start with $1 billion in order to become a millionaire. But why can't the AI, the artificial intelligence system, the AI setups that's a service that I have with Trader of Futures, why can't it work with Bitcoin? No, that's what you said last week? No, I never said any such thing. Risk spread over 24 trades and 6% average yield per week in an AI I would never have said anything like that. Why do people make shit up? That's what I'd like to know. Why do people make shit up? telling me what I said. This has happened several times. People have told me that I've said something, I read it, and I say, shit, man, I know. When I read something like that, I know that that didn't come out of my friggin' mouth. But why can't AI work with Bitcoin? There's a good question, because I have answered that. And I've said that all the AI setups that we put out there and the way the AI works, the artificial intelligence, our neural net doohickey thingy, which is really a pattern recognition machine. The way it works, it needs big data. Big data. And we can get big data from most of the commodities that exist out there because they have, 20, 30-year history of data coming from a regulated exchange. Now think about what that means. From a regulated exchange, that means that it is under government scrutiny and it is putting out good shit. Now think about Bitcoin. It's only been around for about 10 years. And its pricing comes from many different exchanges, of which none are regulated and most are fraudulent. So there is really no one price for Bitcoin. And that's why the AI cannot use Bitcoin data, because it's bullshit. Now there are some people out there that are attempting to create what's called a Bitcoin reference price. There's a few. There's the BRR, and then there's also Gemini. Or it's actually not Gemini. Who are the people? Yeah, it is Gemini. Gemini, and then there's this BRR that's created by a firm over in London. And both of them use a similar method, and what they do is they have a composite average across a number of different exchanges. But even that's not sufficient, because how can I then direct somebody with, say, data that's been aggregated and then normalized over a bunch of different unregulated exchanges, and then provide setups or a pattern recognition of this shit that didn't really exist because it's all made up, and then say, man, you need to trade on that. Ernie, you gave an update on the AI performance last week. You said it was a typical week's performance. I said that week that it was, we had a 6% return. But I didn't say risk spread over 24 trades and 6% average yield per week. I never said that was the average yield per week. I mean, that would mean that you'd be up 350% just by following this thing. That's a fucking idiotic thing to assume. First of all, there are sometimes that, well, like I said, we have had winning days virtually every day. There's only been one non-winning day since we've opened the service. But I never gave any such stats as average over a week, and so I don't know. That's just a bogus thing to assume. I don't know what what it would be over a long period of time, and I don't know that there's any way to tell, and I don't know how that information would be useful to anybody, considering that these are setups. This isn't an automated system, and people are essentially doing discretionary trading from a service. So it would largely depend on the person trading, the size of their account, the systematic rules that they put in place. I mean, we don't have one set of rules for everybody. We have a general set of rules that we use as guidance, but everybody does their own thing. There are some people that make a lot of money with these, and some people struggle. Fortunately, more people are making a lot of money than the people that are struggling. There's just a few people that are struggling. And that's mostly because they have a hard time shedding themselves from the bad habits that they've had from past. which is, pretty standard whenever you take on people in any kind of service. Frank says, AI performance on 100 calls, 30% get triggered. Success on it is 90%. What I said was, that is true. That we have had 90% of the triggered trades, and actually I said 35% get triggered, since in the room, although the system targets 80%. I said that 90% are profitable. And when I said that profitable means that they make more than $1 in the time frame that we allot. Then I also further qualified it and said that 70% of those trades, so 90% are profitable, that means they make $1 or more, and 70% of them reach the target that we supply in the setup, which is typically about a 25% return on capital, which is not 25% of your capital. It's 25% of the margin used for the trade. So, for instance, let's say that you're trading, I don't know, oil, and an oil contract has a margin of, say, $3,000. Then, on average, about 70% of them will reach about 25% of that margin used. All right, so that'd be about $750. That's about right. Now, does that mean that everybody that trades that will make $750? No. For one thing, some people have very small accounts, and they don't trade the full oil contract. They trade the micro contract, which is half the size. For another, some, again, those people have small accounts versus those that have big accounts will trade very differently in terms of their risk management, their personal tolerance and capacity for risk. So, and also the level of their discipline. So everybody is going to have different results. Surfer Blood says 2019 consolidation year, up and down in a steady 3 to 5K range until 2020, starting a bull market. No, there's not going to. You can't predict something like that. You don't know that Bitcoin is going to be entering into a bull market. A 3 to 5K range, I think that is unbelievably optimistic for Bitcoin. BitMEX is definitely regulated. Are you daft? So the Wild West didn't have regulation, survival of the fittest, till they stop allowing us to trade via VPNs. That's such bullshit. BitMEX is regulated. You said it was a typical week. I don't remember saying that. You said it was a typical week, that's all. I may have said something like that. It's possible. But I don't know that I meant that specifically. What is typical? And I said that was typical of our account. And the way we were trading it. Some people might make more. Some people might make less. Trader Glenn, how should we hail Satan for his gift with GE making a low at 6.66? Well, Trader Glenn, how about in 2009 when the S&P 500 hit 666 on the button? And that was the low of the 2009 Great Crash. Did we hail Satan then? And then when we embraced Satan as our savior, is that why the market went up? And we all sold our souls and voted for Obama? Tron's BTT blew up this week. Some people made some huge money. Well, I don't understand what that has to do with anything. Also, thanks for giving Bitcoin Millionaire tips on the day I have an exam. And Jacob says, "Go Patriots!" I haven't been on a while, but did you see the Gronkowski catch? Of course I did. Vintage Gronk. Gilmore should have been MVP, though. No. I mean, that was a good play, but I think Julian Edelman definitely deserved it over Gilmore. It was a great play. Seemed like he came out of nowhere and knocked that out. Hey, Mark Burbot. Great clickbait. When are we going to see 2K Bitcoin? And Jacob Palman says, into position, Brady is too old, too slow, and can't get it done. That's why he keeps on winning. What the fuck does that have to do with anything? He's smarter than the rest. Oh, who's calling me? I'm going to take this for a second. Hello? Why do people call me at all? Brady is too old and too slow. I remember, another one of the greatest of all time that a lot of people, kind of forget about and try to assign it to, in the NBA. And that's Larry Bird. Guy couldn't jump, couldn't run, yet he was a winner. Made everybody else around him better. And then to say that Brady is too old and too slow. He's always been too slow. Always. From even when he was young, he was slow as molasses. Yet he wins. And you think that you have the answer there. That it has nothing to do with your brains, your innate talent. It only comes down to your physical prowess. That's bullshit. There are a lot of elite athletes with physical prowess, and they never make it to the higher stations in professional sports, ever. Chris Corey says, sorry if you've talked about this before, but do you find trend lines valuable? No, not really. There are instances where there seems to be trend line breaks, but they're not consistent. They are anomalies. What I find more valuable, and they're not necessarily trend lines. If you look behind me, you'll see the demarcation lines between high volume wells and high volume nodes and low volume wells. They are actually valuable. They are actually showing you the demarcation between what the market perceives as value and not value. And that is actually where support and resistance are. So in general, every once in a while, I draw trend lines. I wait to see if it gets broken. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And so sometimes it does and then it comes back. There's no definitive way to treat them. But by understanding where value is and value ain't, you can definitively see how price will move as it approaches any of those areas on the volume profile. Seeing a lot of major market indices about to reach a bearish trend line from an all-time high. That's bull. How do you know it's a bearish trend line? That makes no sense. Trojan Hell. two cheating teams, Rams and Patriots, in the Super Bowl. One won a coin toss. The other got away with an illegal tackle. See, there's another person who hates us because he can't be us. That's what I like to say. Yeah. There is no doubt that Tom Brady is the GOAT. Trader Glenn wants to know if I could get Scope Labs on. He used to make some interesting videos. No, Greg has retired from this world of trading. He is no longer into that anymore. He is now into hose and blow. Well, no, not really. He is into just being Greg. So Scope Labs is will no longer. He doesn't trade. He doesn't do any of that shit. He just does his own thing. You might say he's experimenting with life. So, Jacob, you're saying that Brady says he wants to be referred to as too slow and can't get it done? What the fuck are you talking about? Brady said that he'll keep on coming back until he feels like he sucks. Right? I think that's how long Tom will play. And I don't know what his criteria for sucking is. But you're actually right. All of you are right. Brady is the greatest QB in history, period. It's not even close. You know? You can compare him to Montana or others, but it's not even close. Especially when you consider free agency and salary caps and the fact that he never has basically the same team ever in any year. It is just so unbelievably lopsided. I don't know if we'll ever see another person like him. And that's right, Trojan. That Patriots are great because Brady takes a pay cut to have enough money, cap money to get good pieces on the team. But they get good people, but they're also well coached. That is really the difference. There's good guys all over the league. The Patriots don't have the exclusive on getting all the good people. A lot of the people that become heroes are only heroes in short instances when they're needed, when they're called on. And that's the difference. They're completely unselfish. That is the culture there. Dex Vasura says, Snapchat farming, nearly 2x up on my position, and easy money. Scared shorts made it. I don't know what Snapchat farming. I have no idea what that is. Okay, I just meant it as a negative slope. Maybe the term bearish implies some statistical signal. So in other words, we were able to draw a trend line that went down. And so because the market is coming up and touching that, somehow that means that if it breaks through that, then it becomes bullish. If it doesn't, then everything goes to hell. I don't believe in that at all. It has no relevance whatsoever. It doesn't actually show you where support and resistance are. Price doesn't see that line being drawn. The market, the overall market out there, they're not, as they're trading, they're not all looking at the chart thinking, okay, we need to keep on adding. Oh, we hit the line. All right, now we got to back off. Oh, we hit the line. Oh, let's back off. They're not doing that. Now Patriots and Steelers are tied for the most Super Bowls. Maybe he will be down when the Patriots have the most rings. Maybe he will be down when the Patriots... yeah, but, you know, he's the person, the singular person with the most rings, period. The singular person, the singular player, I should say player, because there are some staff members that also get rings. His criteria for sucking would be 2 full closed palms. I'm not sure what that means. Chris Corey's back onto his trend line. My take on trend lines is that they can sometimes be the way that price action translate the data from volume profile. That is true. That it is kind of a heuristic, but it's not an accurate heuristic. It is not an accurate heuristic. It is more accurate to draw horizontal lines to the volume profile. It just so happens that some of those lines match up with the trend line where they break, but it's not that trend line. It's the demarcation between the high and low volume on the volume profile. Jacob, now he's getting back to Tom Brady. He says, read the piece he did with Michael Strahan. He did yesterday after the Super Bowl. He said that he cringes at being called the GOAT. That's because he's super humble. He prefers being called too slow and too old and can't get it done. Okay. I mean, that probably, yeah. I thought you were remarking at first that he's too slow, too old to get it done. But I can see Brady saying that about himself. Yet he does it. And that's also kind of a sight game. And he doesn't believe that, I mean, because he has the ultimate confidence in himself. And he works hard to develop that confidence. Mike Contra just says on star. I don't know what that means either. All these cryptic messages. Now, in light of this topic, how to become a millionaire with Bitcoin, or how to become a millionaire, or making a lot of money in the NFL, for instance. It is true that Brady takes a salary cut so that there's more available funds for other, for more flexible choices on picks. That is true. He has actually done that. But for him, what difference does it make? His wife makes more money than he does. Giselle, as a supermodel. She makes a lot more money than he does. Which is fucking crazy when you think about it. Trump ally Steve Bannon consider using hemp concrete to build a border wall. Is it fake news or marketing only? I would say it's possible they might use hemp, but Trump has been consistently talking about a steel wall that's slatted or slotted so that you can see through it. There may be a secondary wall that's underneath the main wall that is concrete, and maybe they do put hemp fibers in there, which probably would make it a lot tougher, I would think. That's the kind of focus you need to be a highly successful trader, in my opinion. All right, so that's from Adam. Did Adam say something else, or is he referring to somebody that said something? To be highly successful, you need to have confidence. Confidence in what you're doing will allow you to get through those times even when you have losing streaks, because you're confident in your system, your strategy, the edge that you've discovered or that is there. And confidence will keep you from making those bad choices, getting into those emotional quagmires, suffering from FOMO or from fear or greed. So confidence is very, very important. To learn from a great trader. So it wasn't until I had my own mentor, or one of my mentors, and studied under that person for a while that I was able to shed all the bad stuff that I had learned. And then even after I made that initial break, after say 3 years, I was still learning. It took a long time to get over. It takes a long time if you have built up all this negative muscle memory. Booger's Guy loves the title of the stream. Do you like the thumbnail? You see the Lambos and the hose? They're really slutty looking hose. Belichick has 8 rings, 2 under Parcells with the Giants, other than 6 with the Pats. Oh, look at that. That's cool. But he's not a player, so... But that's... Now, Bill Parcells, he was with the Patriots, of course, too. And I actually worked with Bill Parcells for a while. I helped him translate all of their playbooks that he had taken over from previous. Actually, they had not translated, but digitized all their playbooks. Because at the time, believe it or not, all their playbooks were created by their secretary using a typewriter and a Sharpie. And so I used a program called Aldous Freehand, and we created all brand new playbooks for all the players. That was a long time ago. That was 25 years ago. Yeah, worked with him for about a year on it. Used to go over to his office, bring my kid over, and we'd work together. The big tuna. How do you typically determine if a market is bearish or bullish, since you don't like trends? Generally curious how I should approach that. Well, I mean, if a market's going up, then it's probably bullish. If it's going down, then it's probably bearish, right? I mean, that's not a hard thing to understand. You can also do an analysis of the market, the economic situation. I mean, there's a lot of different things that you can use. And depending on the market that you're talking about, one may be different from another. But if you're talking about the overall market, that's not a hard thing to ascertain. And it also depends on the time frame that you're talking about. If you're talking about much longer term time frame, then, you know, obviously this market is still bullish, hugely bullish. There have been some other things or changes in the market, breakouts, like the breakout from the relationship between bonds and equities. We've gone through a multi-year consolidation. Now we've broken out. And every time that's happened in the past, we've done a long reach. And, you know, you look at the economic situation. I mean, you look at the jobs report that just happened last week. This market is bullish. There's no other way to look at it. Unless you're a Democrat, then you think that the market's going to hell. Belichick got Parcells 2 rings. Okay. All I says, been shedding the bad for a while watching you, Ernie. A work in progress for sure. Been shedding the bad. Do you think accumulating is better to start with before trading? I think that adopting a longer-term strategy, so if you want to call that accumulating, will be ultimately more profitable for you in the long run. So if that's what you're saying, yes, I agree with that. I agree that accumulating, building some wealth, and that's really your ultimate goal in trading, is building wealth. Trading may be just one of the streams of income that you use to build your wealth. And there might be different types of trading that you do, but it should be, or most of the energy should be geared towards the longer term, the trend trading, position trading, and then to a lesser extent the swing trading, and to a much lesser extent than that, the short-term opportunities or day trading. So yeah, I think that accumulating is almost more like the wealth building, though. That's like the ultimate goal. And not just accumulating stock and things. I mean, you need to accumulate things that can actually produce more income. That could be businesses, it could be income property, it could be investment grade collectibles, etc. The new North American trade deal needs to be finalized. It's getting there. Dems won't vote for it. Well, fuck them. They'll be voted out of office if they don't. You talked about shedding the bad from learning from your mentor because you were able to really start making profits. Yes, it took years. It took at least 3 years before I really started to see the light. So yeah, I would say that building streams of income, building wealth is the ultimate goal. Not trading, because trading isn't going to make you rich. Just not. Trading will not make you rich. A wide variety of ways of, in conjuring up different streams of income. Money flow, cash flow, that is what will ultimately make you rich. And then accumulating things that will appreciate and also produce income. Is order flow a usual skill with volume profile? Yeah. I mean, order flow is essentially an volume profile. Now, there are different types of order flow techniques that you can use. There are some that do scalping using order flow at very minute time frames. But those are usually geared towards prop trading firms with a very specific methodology. There are virtually no people out in the general public that have a viable scalping order flow trading methodology. Well, I'm glad we agree, all eyes. What's your definition of rich, Ernie? That's a very personal thing, I think. But what's my definition of rich? Being able to do what I want to do when I want to do it without any real worry about maintaining the current lifestyle. And then being able to pass that on to your children. That would be rich. I'm not quite there yet. But I do what I want when I want. I mean, I haven't gone to a real job in 25 years, 20 years? Yeah, 20 years. So that's good. I mean, I develop different streams of income, and that keeps me going, and then I accumulate, but I don't answer to anybody. Being able to make your own way, having a situation that you're happy with. I mean, happiness has a lot to do with being rich too. I would hate to have what I had described earlier and then not be happy. I wouldn't consider myself rich. What expectations are reasonable for trading performance? Oh God, geez, that's a really open-ended question. Not losing money. Being able to at least accumulate some money on a consistent basis would be good. That would be a good start. You know, and it really depends on the style of trading you do and what you do. But see, you're equating a particular type of trading, and you want to get an answer for that. You know, I want to get like some weekly or monthly figure that I should be shooting for. A reasonable expectation is something that you are confident that you can achieve. How can you know all those technique or technicals? You must have spent a lot of time. Yeah. Well, you know, although I wouldn't consider myself old, maybe relative to a lot of people that are watching me right now, I'm old. You know, I'm probably 2, maybe 3 times older than some of you. Maybe some of you are older than me. I don't know. But you know, being in business and in the workforce, in the professional life for 40 years, you accumulate a lot of shit. I guess it all depends on what you do with it. Do you have any backtesting software that you use or recommend for learning purposes? There's a lot. It depends on the platform. TradeStation has, I think, perhaps the best backtesting, built-in backtesting platform. There are other, you know, independent backtesting. You can also use Excel. And it really depends on what you're backtesting, too. First of all, I don't look at backtesting as the end-all, be-all. As a matter of fact, I think that it is a loss leader and will give you information that is largely incomplete. It might give you a general sense for, you know, what strategy is good or bad, but it won't give you any real accurate information, and it won't tell you how robust your strategy is. And it will, in fact, if you find one good strategy, it will lead you down a path thinking that that strategy is good, when the real answer is that any singular strategy isn't good, because any strategy can fail at any time. And so for that reason, I don't put as much emphasis on backtesting. Now, doing a retrospective on your performance and your consistency of your performance is good. But really, the only reasonable way that you can look at that is by doing an aggregate of all the different incomes that you create and strategies that you have in play. And I've said this often, that really that is the holy grail of trading and income producing, is to have multiple non-correlated strategies working in your favor. And the more strategies, the better. Most millionaires have multiple streams of income, many streams. All Eyes is asking, do you think taking or understanding those online marketing courses for eventually having your own e-commerce website providing products as another stream of income is a good idea to spend time on? Well, those are all the tools. Those tools won't necessarily give you the business. It's the business idea that's important. I think that you know, having a good, solid foundation, or at least knowing somebody that can build it for you, of an online store or whatever, so that you can actually collect money, that's important. Or you can present the product. That's important. But it's really the idea that's even more important. The idea, the execution of the idea, understanding how to market that idea, how to scale it, get other people involved, create affiliations, leveraging those affiliations, marketing. I mean, there's so much that you need. And it's really hard to do it by yourself, but it's possible. So all eyes, I think it is good to learn all of that stuff, you know, and if somebody wants to know more about it, I'd be happy to share that with them. I mean, besides creating my own websites, I've worked on and built the biggest sites in the world when I was at Sun. I mean, we were the de facto standard company that was behind all the biggest sites in the world. But that's very different than, say, building your own personal website, your own personal e-commerce site. I mean, there are elements that are similar, but the execution and the actual technologies are completely different. Like this type of stuff that Lopez, you mean Ty Lopez. Well, he actually advocates many different things. He has self-help stuff, courseware. I mean, that's how he makes money, by selling courses. I think that is an excellent way to go. I mean, I sell the volume profile course. I've sold many other courses. You know, if you've been following me for a while, you know that I've sold courses on automated trading, how to make trading a living, or trade for a living. The volume profile course. I've shown people strategies like the knob strategy. I mean, these are all courses that I've created over time, and all of them have, you know, turned out to be bring in six-figure income. And so I do that, and I do other things. So having a basic knowledge of how to actually create that, I mean, it's the idea that makes the money, but then to be able to execute it and put it online and then attract people. I mean, the primary way that I attract people is by doing stuff like this. This is something I do continuously. I talk to people, develop relationships. They listen to me for a while. We talk. They develop a trust in me. And then maybe someday some of those people will want to try out some of the stuff that I have. Now that came crashing down last year when I had a really good stream of new customers coming in for courseware that I was creating. And someone stole my identity and basically wiped out my YouTube channel, which was my primary mechanism for bringing in new people. So I fixed that so that can't happen again. And now working more on a lot of the same stuff. But I also have other businesses that I don't talk about here that are completely different. If you had it all taken away and was only left with $500 in your pocket to trade, what would you trade to make additional income? I wouldn't trade anything. The first thing that I would be doing is going out there and trying to figure out how I could broker some deal with somebody to make the type of income I need to pay the bills. I would find people that need something and then find people that can supply something, and I would bring them together. That's what I would do. You know, starting with $500 and start trading something, you're simply not going to make the kind of income you need to start paying the bills. You need big influxes of cash. You need to go out there and sell yourself, sell an idea to somebody, get a big wad of cash up front so that you can then start working on something and building other streams of income. So All Eyes is looking right now and understanding how to use the tools of the idea of e-commerce providing ideas or products. Just as another stream, as I have 3 at the moment, looking to have 5 to 6, hopefully. That's tough. One at a time, and then build up from there. You need to concentrate on one, make it good. You know? So, for instance, I have 2 going on right now. that you guys see, and that is the AI setups, and that is a neural net that we've created. I created with a partner. It provides an alert service, and then I have this other, the volume profile course, which I would like to say that I want. I'm taking on new students for the volume profile course right now. If I get enough, I'll do one this weekend. If I don't, I'll do it next weekend. I also do coaching. So there's 3 different streams of income right there. And I have another business outside of this that you don't know. There's a 4th stream. Chris says, what would you say the volume profile course or a single coaching session would be the most effective to help me to get the ball rolling on investing and trading? Well, first of all, the volume profile course would be much cheaper than taking a coaching course. One coaching session isn't going to do it. Coaching sessions are they're usually longer term engagements, and those are designed to take something that you're already doing and help you achieve peak performance, just like a coach on a professional team. The volume profile course, I think, will provide you with a very clear and unambiguous view of how the market actually works and behaves, and allow you to develop your own strategies around that. I mean, volume profile in of itself isn't a strategy. It's more of an analytical method that allows you to build strategies around it. So I would say that that's probably the most valuable for someone just starting out. For sure. Chuck Barris. A lot of people don't know who Chuck Barris is, but Chuck Barris was the creator of The Gong Show, which was a late 70s. Did it go into the early 80s? I would say mid to late 70s variety show on TV. And that was a very cool show. They had the unknown comic on there, and they had many guest celebrities that would rate the acts. Very much like America's Got Talent, but almost like a parody of America's Got Talent. It is said that Chuck Barris was actually a CIA assassin in his second life. So yeah, he had these multiple things going on. Ernie, any hope for Bitcoin in the next 10 years? I would say possibly. I think that there is a good chance with the number of people that are working on it that somebody's going to come up with a breakthrough. There's going to be a killer application that will appear that people must have. But until that happens, or until some major enterprises can figure out how to turn an ROI on it to make it actually enhance their business model, that it will solve a problem that they can't solve in another way, in a more traditional way, it's not going anywhere. And that's really the problem right now. Do you still offer the volume profile course on demand, or is it only a live class? Well, it's a live class, and then you get the video. But I used to have it on demand, but that was last year, and it was when my identity was stolen. All the work that I had put into all those videos went away. Is your main focus mainly on the traditional markets? No. I mean, what I'm showing people now are markets that they're interested in. Futures market, Forex market, equities. I've had a couple of good courses on options too. I may revitalize that. Doing options is a lot of fun. Ernie, what is your pick for the best investment to best inflation? I would say, wow, best investment to best inflation. Property. Income property. Absolutely. Income property is the best. That's pretty much the answer for any question like that. How are the courses done exactly? Do we need a webcam to communicate back? So there are a number of different ways that you can do it. You can do live courses, and you can use something like Zoom or Skype. And so, yeah, a webcam is important. Also, you know, a quality microphone. Good software. I like OBS. I'm using OBS right now, Open Broadcast System. I also use Telestream's ScreenFlow when I want to create or produce videos. If I wanted to create an online course, I mean, there were a number of different options, but I like WP Courseware, which works with WordPress. And then I'll use something like MemberPress or Wishlist to create a membership. I'll use WooCommerce to create an online shopping cart. There are others like ZenCart and others, but I like WooCommerce. So there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff to know. Do I believe in precious metals? How does one believe in a precious metal? Do I believe in precious metals? Do I have precious metals? Yeah. You know, like, you mean like shit like this? These kind of precious metals? Silver and gold? Yeah, I believe in that shit. It's good to have. I like older stuff too. You know, like that. Bullion like this. That's just shit I have hanging around. I've got a lot of other stuff. So yeah, I believe in precious metals, but do I believe? Am I like a huge investor? No, I have you know, some portion of my wealth in precious metals, but it's more speculative than really trying to beat inflation. It's like, you know, I just think I need some precious metals. Who knows? Maybe someday it'll be worth a shitload, and I can unload it in a pinch. I mean, I have a lot of junk gold, old jewelry that I've accumulated, like bags and bags of it. Maybe someday I'll take that down to the refinery and I'll have them melt it down into ingots. Damn, my credit sucks. Well, pay off your bills. Stop buying shit. Chris says, a course on options sounds great. Do you see? I used to have this really great on-demand course, and that was one of the things that got deleted. And I made a fair amount of income off of that. I mean, I probably made a couple $1,000s a month, you know, consistently, month after month after month. And that went away when they stole my identity and deleted my YouTube account and other things. Do you think options are a good route for someone with limited capital? Yeah, because you can control your risk. You can also trade very small if you want, even with bigger size stocks. You can create strategies that that are very affordable. The hard part with options is really understanding what they're all about. Most people think that they're about leverage, and in fact, they are not. Options are a way to model your idea in the market, your idea of a particular strategy. And by modeling that, you can control your risk and the parameters. And Also, if you trade a lot of options over time, you can basically use the law of big numbers to achieve a predictable return. What I meant is, how do I, as someone taking the course, get best set up to communicate back and participate? Can it be done without a webcam or a mic? Oh, of course. When I give a course, it's always a live course, and people can communicate with me, and the software allows them to, at minimal, text me. And so, just like we're doing right now, you guys are texting me and I'm replying back to you. So I do the same thing in the course. At the end or the completion of the course, I then can, if they have a mic and a camera, I can unmute them or allow them to use that, and then we can communicate face-to-face. That's the lesser of the case. But most people will just text me and I'll answer their questions in the same way that we're doing right now. And do we need specific software to participate? No, you only need your web browser. Your web browser will download all the software that you need. Does volume profile work with options? Well, it works with the underlying commodity or underlying asset that the option is being, or option represents. So, yeah. But options themselves, I don't believe that there's any real way to plot a volume profile on an option and the open interest. I've never seen that. That's a good question, though. But if it works on the underlying commodity or asset, then you can develop a strategy with your options to play that based on the structure of that market. All right. Well, that was good. Man, I can't believe it's well over an hour now. So that was good. That was good. So hopefully now everyone knows how to make $1 million. We didn't talk about Bitcoin per se, but really the secret to making a lot of money and consistent money is to build your wealth. And the best way to build wealth is to develop streams of income. Start with one stream, build it up, perfect it. Start another stream, build it up, perfect it, and keep on doing that. The more streams you have, the more robustness that you'll have in your business. And so that if one of those streams goes away, you still have these others to fall back on. The more streams that you create and then automate, the more time that you'll have for yourself to come up with new ideas and also provide you with this level of independence. There is nothing better. And I was going to go back to the whole idea of being rich. Independence is probably one of the most critical aspects, or the most wanted aspects of, or characteristics of being rich, being independent. Be able to do what you want when you want, and not answering to anybody. Does the AI program get all of your volume trades? Let me answer that how I think that you're saying. The AI, when it does a setup or does the alerts, the interesting thing is when you look at the volume profile of that and the concepts I teach in volume profile, the setups, the levels, the entries and exits, they match up very neatly with the structure of the market. So that's kind of interesting. And so okay. Good perspectives. Cheers again. I'll go make a few million now and come back in a few days. All right, all eyes. Thank you. You're welcome, Nathan. Yes, hit the likes, people. Thank you very much for showing up. And we'll see you next time. Gotta stop the stream. Adios.